Welcome to the Richmond Film Network podcast, your all-access pass to the world of independent cinema. Each week, we go beyond the credits and sit down with the creatives who turn vision into reality. Tune in weekly to find out who's on the RFN pod.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to another RFN podcast with an amazing filmmaker. I'm your guest host, Zakiya Roberts. And today I am here with the amazing Séyla Hossaini. Round of applause.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you for being here. I'm just going to do a little intro of you, if that's okay. Séyla is a longtime writer and budding filmmaker from Richmond, Virginia. Hey, she has a background in directing and editing music videos, promotional videos for local businesses, and doing public relations work with a Richmond recording studio. Multifaceted. She also fronts a garage rock band, Towards Space, as a vocalist and bassist who have been touring nationally for the last 10 years. She's greatly inspired by the new French Extremity movement, as well as existential literature from the 1940s and 30s. Everybody, a round of applause for Miss Séyla Hossaini. Yay! We're glad to have you, girl.
Thank you.
We got to get into that new French Extremity movement because I'm just hearing that term for the first time in my life. I've been under a rock and I just Googled it to talk about you. And I was like, I'm obsessed. And now after watching your film, it just makes a lot of sense. I'd love to talk about that later. Yeah. Thanks for teaching me something new. Okay. So you are from Richmond, Virginia.
Yes.
And you are also based in Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So for listeners who may not, I don't know why they wouldn't be aware of you, especially if they're tuned into RFN, they've already seen some of your work. But for listeners who may not know you yet, could you share a little bit about your creative journey, how you went from writing music to directing films, and maybe talk about how music has shaped your filmmaking voice?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I've been writing literally since I can remember picking up like a pencil when I was a kid. I don't know, like it literally started from like day one. Like as soon as I like figured out how to start writing words, I started like writing little children's books to read to my little sister. So
I love it.
I've been writing for like so long. And I started playing music I started playing bass when I was around 14. I was writing song lyrics before I learned how to play bass, and then wanted to learn how to play bass so that I could like create the music for my own songs. Kind of like how I started out screenwriting and thought I was just going to be a screenwriter. And then I was like, oh wait, I actually want to direct the movies that I'm writing. So I remember taking a screenwriting class when I was in high school once and like kind of learning how to format screenplays, and I started reading screenplays a lot. And yeah, film just ended up being the perfect medium for me because there's the writing aspect and there's this whole physical and collaborative aspect of it. So it's just like, it's just the perfect medium for me. And music is a big part of filmmaking for me. I feel like a lot of the scenes that I write are often influenced by listening to music. I usually like my writing process. A lot of my writing process is listening to music, and scenes start kind of coming to me in like a daydream sort of fashion when I'm listening to music. So, and also I feel like, you know, film soundtracks are such a big part of like so many movies and an important part, and music can completely change like a scene entirely. So, sorry if that answer is kind of rambly. I'm so rambly.
No, it was a layered question, but I loved how you touched on it. And then when you said scenes start coming to you like a daydream sequence, I was like, oh my gosh, she's such a writer. Like you're so artistic. Like, yeah, I'm just listening, I'm vibing out, and scenes start playing. I have heard so many writers say that, and I'm like waiting for that experience for myself. It's super cool. I mean, I know it's a unique journey for all of us, but you just made it sound like a movie in and of itself. So we are here to talk about your film, We'll Still Be Here.
Yeah.
So I always tell filmmakers, I don't like to read the log line. I don't read anything about you and how you made this film or any of the notes that are given to me. I just kind of go in blind.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I've been
so I
trying to
don't know
do that
what.
with films nowadays too.
I do that when I go to the movies. Like some stuff I can't avoid, but if someone's like, "Let's go to the movies," I'm like, "Don't tell me anything about it." So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how I watched your film. So
Oh, that's so
everything is
cool.
unfolding, and I'm like, "Oh, where are we going with this?" So first of
Nice.
all, love the opening shot. I I'm just kind of obsessed with people whose brains are outside the box. So what inspired this film? To be honest, the opening quote was like so dope. I love Jean-Paul Sartre. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that quote kind of embodied the thought element of the piece? I mean, there was a lot. This is not just like for those who have seen. Oh wait, people won't have seen it yet. Well,
Oh yeah, no spoilers, no big spoilers, please.
so that might change some of my questions. But if you don't know anything about the film and you go in blind, you don't really know where it's going to go from the opening shot to the second scene. I'll say that, and then by the end of the movie, it's like, whoa.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I love that though.
I'm so excited for people to. I'm so excited for people to see it.
Listen, I'm excited to be able to talk about it freely. When everyone can see it, will be November 15th at the Park RVA at Indie Fest. So everybody get your tickets as soon as you can. This film is definitely worth the watch. So let's talk about music. Simply because you are also a musician. And I love when people's music catches me off guard. So opening is very different than like when we shoot to a scene and there's kind of like a party scene. Where did you get your music? Did you create it yourself? Did you use local artists?
We got to use a song called Heart of Darkness by LA Witch, which is a band that I'm just a huge fan of. And I was lucky enough that they let us use the song when I reached out to them. And they're like a pretty popular band. I've never met them. I believe they've played Richmond before, but I wasn't able to make it to their show. But that's just a band that I'm a personal fan of and listener of. So it was really, and I had been picturing this scene with this song for so long. And for a while, I kind of just figured I'd find a replacement song because I didn't know if I'd be able to get the song. But we actually got it. So that was awesome. And then one of my boyfriend, who's also in the film, Noah Peterson, one of his friends, who's a rapper, his name's Gabriel. I think that's just Gabriel Ellick. I think that's just his stage name, like his actual name. One of his songs is in the film. I was looking for like a hip hop song and we used one of his songs. He's also based out in LA as well. There's a track by the band Swell Fellas, which is a band that I have played with on tour. They're based in Nashville. They used to be Coast. So actually not like technically local music, but folks that I've played with or met or interacted with. But I do often try to use a lot of local bands as well. And yeah, I'm lucky that as like a touring musician for a long time, I have made a lot of connections. So it's not that difficult for me to like license music because I have so many friends who are musicians and know so many bands. So yeah.
You got the connect. I was going to say, to have a song that you kind of have as a placeholder and you love it and you can kind of see a scene unfolding to it, but it's a band that, you're like, I probably won't be able to get that. And then you were able to get that one. Like, that's amazing.
It was so
Not
cool.
a lot of people. Yeah.
It was so cool.
Okay. So you have worked extensively in Richmond's music and art scene. How does being rooted in this Richmond, Virginia community influence your storytelling, or does it?
It definitely does. This movie takes place mostly in Myrtle Beach, but in a lot of films that I'm currently working on writing, I've been a really big proponent of trying to promote stories that aren't just in New York or LA or like the big cities, because I think sometimes people, when they live in a small town or a small city, they're like worried, oh, like what if like people don't get these references or this or that. But at the end of the day, like somebody's gonna connect with it if you're being honest in your writing. And I just think like we don't have to try to make everything take place in big cities. Yeah. I think there's like a lot of interesting things happening in super small towns that no one's heard of. Or people think all of Virginia is just the same. Like, but Richmond is actually pretty different than a lot of other places in Virginia, I feel like.
I agree.
But yeah, I think definitely where I'm from, has shaped my writing in a lot of ways. A lot of films that I'm currently working on writing make some pretty specific Richmond references, and a lot of like the things that I'm some of the things I'm making fun of, I think, are kind of Richmond specific. So yeah.
Oh man, I want to get into that, but we can't without spoilers, huh?
Well, I guess I'm also talking about projects that are not going to be seeing the light of day for quite some time. But I mean, yeah, I think, and also, I mean, in this film in particular with Myrtle Beach too, like Myrtle Beach has such a specific aesthetic and vibe that I wanted to portray too. And I feel like people from there or who have been there will get that. Also, We'll Still Be Here is actually a proof of concept film for a feature film that I'm trying to get funded. So, which also takes place in Myrtle Beach. So
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yes, proof of concept. So this is one of those films, and I always talk about with shorts, you can watch a short and it's kind of like this thing that is wrapped up in a bow and you feel like you got a complete beginning, middle, and end, and there's nowhere really more for it to go. And that's great. I love a fulfilled feeling. And then there are the shorts where you're like, but now what? I want more, like there's more here to talk about. And I definitely, because of the layered existential kind of questions that could emerge, it definitely makes you feel like there's more to explore here. So I love knowing that, and good luck. We're going to wish you all the Richmond Film Network luck on visibility and the budget and funding and movement forward. I would love to see this grow. But I don't really remember the landscape of the city you used except for the opening shot. So you actually did shoot in Myrtle Beach?
No, we actually didn't. It was all shot here in Richmond. Yeah. So,
okay.
Because it was mostly like interiors, aside from the airport scene, which was not actually an airport. It was outside the Richmond Convention Center. But yeah.
Oh, we need a bell for like ding, 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 when people do a cheat and nobody can tell. That was amazing. A cheat shot. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. You win. What?
Thank you. Yeah. We just were trying to figure out, like, we were going to like scout a lot of different places, and we were like, this actually kind of does look like an airport from certain angles. And then with sound design is a big part of it too. So
yeah, because I feel like I was hearing planes and stuff, but I mean, I guess that's all what you do in post. That was really creative. See, indie filmmakers, we learn how to do stuff on the fly.
Yeah.
So let's get into like the kind of like the technical stuff. So how reliant are you as a filmmaker on storyboarding, and how much do you kind of let come to you, or how malleable are you in the process of finding a shot that you didn't maybe anticipate?
Okay, so with this project, there was a ton of pre-production. We were in pre-production for like months and months because we kind of struggled to lock down with some of our actors and crew, and like there's a little bit of struggle with pinpointing like dates. So we were in pre-production for quite some time. We had a very thorough shot list. I had an amazing assistant director. Chelsea Burke was my AD. Caitlin Whitaker was my second AD, and both of those ladies are like such powerhouses. Like if anybody gets the chance to work with them on anything, they're so thorough, and like they really kept me on task. So
love it.
Chelsea and I like thoroughly went through my shot lists, like, cause I usually do shot lists. I don't really do storyboards personally. But yeah, we went through that together, and she was like every detail was like, because we had like, time constraints. We had actors coming here from New York and LA. So it was like, we really had to make this film in the 3 days that we had to make this film. Did I say 3? Was it 2? Oh my God. Now I like can't remember. Wait, no, it was 2
Shayla.
days. Oh my God.
3 days?
Wait,
you shot this?
Now I'm like really tripping. Was it 2 or 3?
Girl, I don't care. I thought you were going to say this took like 2 weeks. This is like 18 minutes.
I know. Well, okay, that's another thing too. The script was like a 10-page script. And so, yeah, it ended up being, it was funny too, because me, my script supervisor Kelsey, and my DP Victor, we all sat in on the like final editing sessions with my editor Drew Scott, and he was like, yeah, it's a little longer than 10 minutes. And then we were like, oh snap, like, oh, I wonder if we could cut it down. And then Victor and I both had all these notes, and like by the time that we were done, he was like, you guys just made this longer, right? Like it got longer somehow with our notes. But yeah.
It's really interesting as a person who has watched the film now. I think I have a keen enough eye at this point where I would watch something and say, I mean, that scene was cool, but it could have been cut or could have been shorter, or this wasn't necessary, but kind of feel like everything was needed. So whatever notes you guys gave, yeah, it got longer, but I'm going to go ahead and say better. So you had a 10-page script that turned into
about 10 page, yeah.
18-ish minute movie, and you shot it in 2, maybe 3 days.
Yeah, it's actually kind of making me feel crazy that I now can't remember. I think it was, wait, okay, I gotta think really quick. I'm like about to text somebody and be like, did we do for 2 or 3 days? Now I can't remember. Oh my
God. This is hilarious. Well, in the flow of shooting though, since you really had such an extensive shot list, were there any shots that were included that you didn't anticipate, or was it pretty much, no, everything we put on the shot list is what you saw?
I'm trying to think now. There was one like part of a scene that ended up maybe being a little longer than anticipated at a climactic moment, but I knew that shot would be long. I didn't know exactly what angle it would be. I feel like you know what I'm talking about, but maybe, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yep, got it. Say less.
I also, I love long shots. And there was also the ending scene, which I'm not going to spoil at all. The ending scene I actually envisioned in one shot, in like one take, but that didn't, there were some technical reasons why it didn't really work that way, but also, I ended up liking the other angles.
I was going to say, I love the singles that you did and kind of like the dirty other thing happening. Yeah. And so that I can't talk about it now, but in that last scene, there is the coolest thing happening, but also crazy. And I thought when we got to this final scene, I was like, this woman has a great use of humor in like the darkest way that's still funny, but doesn't take you out of like the intensity of the film genre and the moment. So I thought those little touches were great.
Thank you.
So is your boyfriend who played Dallas?
Yep, that's Noah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's another touch of comedy that just like kind of adds a little spice to the film that you're like not expected, but just I love the layers. So I was like, oh, he's a very interesting but super funny and like point of levity in the film. And then I didn't even know this.
Different from him in real life.
In real life, really.
And so it was funny when our editor met him, he was like, "What?" Because like he's so like opposite of this character. So it was one of the coolest roles I've seen him in, even though it was a small part, because he's such a dynamic actor, and it was cool to see. And also since he's my boyfriend, I've been able to observe his process a little bit with getting into that character. So it's been fun. It was a little scary actually, having to see that
watching him like transform into that. It's like, so crazy that like sometimes the best work that actors will do is when they get to do something totally opposite or so far out of like their normal day to day. Because if you hadn't told me that, I would have thought this is just a person who kind of lives in that vein of personality. And this was just an easy thing to do. So you saying like, oh no, he's completely opposite. I'm like, oh, so he built an entire character.
Yeah, like he really, when he read the script and he was like, all right, I guess like this is, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, it was cool because the process was like really different with like each actor that I worked with on this set. Well, especially because Paige Smeltzer lives in New York City. Lindsay Normington, she lives in LA. But like Noah and I, obviously, he's really big on like prep, and we did a lot of like prep together. Paige and I also like did a lot of prep together. Actually, we had like some really like a really long phone call, like a week before the shoot, and like talked really in depth about the character. But Lindsay was shooting for an Apple show, an Apple TV show, and so like we barely really talked about the character and the role, aside from like I showed her some of like the costume like options and stuff, but like we didn't really talk until we got on set together. I mean, we had talked like a lot before, but not about like about this character. So like, but it kind of works for that character, I think, too. And she like knocked it out of the park, and like we had some really amazing conversations on set, and like especially before like the really intense scenes. So yeah, so it was interesting. It was like very different, like the process with each actor. But I love working with actors. It's one of my favorite.
I was going to say, I love when a director is passionate about having a process with the actors. And I always am very interested in what type of director people think that they are. Are they like very technical and shot based and storytelling vehicle? Or is it more actor, like working with them, pulling performances, or really like 50-50 type of balance? And it sounds like, well, which one would you say? I don't want to take a guess.
Well, it's funny because to me, I think every director should be an actor's director, because I just think like you cannot get away with like bad acting. First of all, I think in a film, like I'd rather see like shaky cinematography and good acting than like bad acting and like beautiful cinematography. Although like obviously, you know, I love seeing beautiful cinematography. I do care about cinematography as well, but like I think, and I just like love the process of working with actors and seeing what they bring to a character as well, because like I mean sometimes it depends on the character. Like sometimes I'll see, you know, the actor fully immerse themselves, learn about the character, and like kind of just become that role that I built for them, or I'll see them put their own spin on it, or like all of a sudden I'll see like, oh, I like what they brought to it better than what I imagined to begin with. And I also do encourage, if somebody feels like improving, like with a lot of roles, I do like to encourage actors to improv. And like Lindsay she improved like a couple lines in that we kept in. Like she's really, really, really good at improv. And like she had some like hilarious ad libs. I honestly, sometime after like the film is out, I want to release like a supercut of some of her ad libs that didn't make it in, because she said some really funny stuff.
You should totally do that.
Yeah, I think I have to.
So I didn't even realize who Lindsay was, but as I'm watching the film, I'm like, this girl is so good. And I thought she looked familiar, but again, I'm not thinking about that. And so she apparently was also in the Oscar award-winning film Anora.
Yeah.
Was she one of the dancers?
She was the like mean stripper.
The nemesis dancer. Yeah, okay. I was like,
she was Diamond. She was the one who Mikey Madison's character gets in like the big brawl with. Like they're like nemesis in the club. Yeah.
Yep. Which is very memorable.
Yes. No, I was like, I had already like, me and her had already like chatted a little bit, and we followed each other on Instagram way before I knew that she was going to be. And I've been a big fan of Sean Baker's work for a long time. But yeah, and then I saw she was going to be in that movie, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I was like, it had already crossed my mind. Like, I think I'd seen some of her other stuff and been like, oh, I'd love to work with her. But then when I saw Anora, I messaged her that night after I first saw Anora, and I was like, I have a role for you. And she was like, oh my God, I'd love to read for you. And I was like, you don't even have to read it. Like just come be in my movie.
Séyla, that was so, I mean, I know you already kind of like had a rapport, but I feel like that's just so ballsy. Like, I love that you just jumped out there like, oh, this is somebody I want to work with, and I got a role. Like, that's amazing.
I was so excited she wanted to do it. Yeah, she's such a phenomenal actress. And like I said too, like even before I saw that she was in like this big movie, like I had seen other like smaller projects. Like I think I watched like something on her like YouTube, like some old like, I don't know if it was like a college film or like, I don't know, it was just like something I think she made with friends that I was like, she's really funny and she's like really good. So I already thought she was a really good actor, but then I saw her in Anora and I was like, oh my God, this bitch is fierce. I don't know if I can cuss, sorry.
Yeah, you're good, girl. But so do you feel like you watch content kind of absorbing like things you can take like from director shots and actors that you might want to like work with? Like, do you follow act? Like, how do
I
you go
follow a lot of
about?
actors. I'm always
Okay.
looking, like, because sometimes, like, an actor, like, I don't know, because, like, I always think, like, oh, I could get inspired by a specific actor to write a role for them. Like, I'm always just, like, I'll even, like, I'll reach out to actors sometimes, and I'll, like, if I just like their look, and I'll be like, hey, do you have a reel I can look at? So I try to connect with actors a lot through social media. And, like, you know, just the way, like, directors probably inspire them, like, actors inspire me, like, you know, so...
Aw, you are an actor's director. I love it. I love it. I also am very impressed with the thing you said about sometimes actors will come and they'll bring a thing that you kind of hadn't even envisioned for a character, and it'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is better than what I thought. And I think maybe when you're directing, that's one version of collaboration. But when you've also written the material and they come in, so you're very married to this story. You wrote the words, you're also creating the vision, and then the actor comes in with something slightly different than what you imagined. I love that you can be that malleable as a writer director
Yeah.
to say, like, this isn't what I thought, but this is kind of working and I like it. Do you go with it? Or do you go with it and then also get what you originally kind of thought? Or do you just go with the new direction?
It depends. I would say, I mean, I always tell actors, like, on set, like, if I write a line and it feels way more, well, first off, it's like with little things, I definitely try to, like, if an actor if the phrasing of something just comes off super unnatural to them, I'd rather them, like, change the phrasing of something so that it feels more organic and they just feel more natural saying the words. I, it just, yeah, I mean, it's a case by case basis. Like,
Okay.
I still have, like, a strong vision, and I don't know, there might be things I might disagree with. Like, if an actor, you know, has, like, a suggestion that I disagree with, we might, like, chat about it, and figure out, like, what the consensus is, you know? But
So it's kind of
yeah.
collaborative, but case by case.
Yeah, I would say so. It really depends. But I mean, I haven't really had an instance where, like, an actor super disagreed, like, oh, I don't think this character would do this or this. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had, like, a really huge disagreement.
Good.
I'll say.
Let's keep that energy going. I think it's just because the energy you
It'll happen.
bring is like, no, maybe not. Because I feel like you bring an energy that's very much like, yeah, it'll work out. It'll be cool. And I feel like your writing is really strong and your directing. So I feel like you probably make actors trust your vision. But speaking of Lindsay, I know we can't give spoilers, but you gave her a monologue, which, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a gutsy thing to do in a short. I think I looked at the time; it was like almost 2 minutes.
That scene, yeah, I remember. I like can't even remember how long the shoot was itself, but I just texted Noah. It was 3 days. But that, like, the scene 7 was, like, the big scene, so that was like prioritized, like, having time within that. Like, that was, like, the big, like, we're gonna make sure we have a lot of time for this scene and all of that. I mean, obviously there's crying. It's real tears.
I could tell. Like, when I say,
almost cried on set. Like, we were, like, in Video Village, like, all tearing up, like, by her performance. So
annihilated that. And I think an actor, all of us, we kind of like dream of those roles where we really get to sink our teeth into, like, some deep material and some great writing and a monologue. I mean, people just don't really do those as much anymore. To give somebody that type of time, screen time, and you did some cutaways, but it was a lot on her and she nailed it. So, like, that moment alone was so visceral. And it was just really amazing to be like, oh man, Séyla wrote this and she is killing it. Like, she ate. So yeah, that was a great collab.
Yeah.
And even the way you captured it visually.
I was nervous about, I think we were all, like, you know, nervous leading up to that. And we were, like, kind of, like, close set for that scene too. Like, we had, like, minimal folks on set at that time. Like, we tried to keep it really intimate. It was
smart.
I could not have been more, like, thrilled with how she delivered that. And I mean, we like didn't really even chat about that scene, and I also didn't want to, like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to, like, get her to get in her head about it or anything. Like, I don't like, so I think it was, like, kind of a perfect situation that we just had some like really intimate like one-on-one conversations on set. Like we just kind of went like upstairs in a room alone for a little bit and talked, and like I think also it was cool to learn that she was really receptive to like my directing style, which is like I always say it's very physical, because like I like to direct in a way where sometimes I like to focus less on like backstory or the mental side of things, and just how does how would your body feel in this moment. And so like Lindsay and I did like breathing exercises and stuff. Like she was very receptive to that though, because I think that that's like how a lot of her theater and film background so we did like literally like breathing exercises and stuff
on set
about like the physicality of like what kind of like physical feelings those emotions would bring to help her get into that headspace. So yeah, so that was kind of like, I was glad she was into that, because that's kind of but I think that, I mean, every emotion has like a physical side of it, like, so, and especially when it comes to like depression and anxiety, it's like not just something that goes on in your head, it really is this physical thing that happens to you. So I always try to approach scenes like that from like starting with the body. So yeah,
because the body's super informative, and it actually can really affect what's happening through the eyes, right?
Your body knows before your brain a lot of the time.
So you made time for that on set. I mean, I love that. It's like a private rehearsal, but you kind of went through like breathing techniques and physical. Now, that obviously is not always going to be available to you in like terms of you were in a home or like in a place where you had that ability. Like, what happens if you're on a crazy location? How do you think you would approach that part of your directing style?
I feel like you have to just kind of find space wherever there is space. So we were in a vacant house for this. We did have like a decent amount of space, but we didn't have like trailers or anything, but that would have been nice. But you know, yeah, I just think you have to have some kind of time set aside to work with your actors. Also, like you and your DP, like Victor and I have been working together like a while now. He's done like most of pretty much all my projects in the last few years, so we have like a really good dynamic. Like we don't even have to like talk. We don't even have to communicate that much until we're in the moment. But I just think you have to like prioritize talking to your actors, like, you know, before, like it's important. Like, you know,
so you make time for that.
You have to just make time for that. Yeah. Like instead of just going and like eating a granola bar in the corner and like waiting for like it to be time to go to set, like you gotta like go talk to people. So
I love your directing style. You are like my favorite kind of director. You're like, I gotta get in there. No, seriously, I gotta get in there with my actors, because I think we should put that on like a t-shirt somewhere. Like, I'd rather watch good acting and shaky cinematography than the cleanest shot ever and bad acting, right? And I think from the most civilian viewer to the most elevated critique, I think they would probably all agree that the last thing we want to watch is bad acting.
Yeah, I think,
so we'll take a out of focus shot if the acting is good rather than...
Yeah, John Waters like said something once where he was like, if you walk out of the movies and like the only thing you have to say or the first thing you have to say is like, oh, I love the cinematography, then that means
it was shot beautifully.
Then the movie sucked or whatever. Yeah. So I kind of, to some level, I do agree. I mean, obviously cinematography is part of storytelling, but yeah, it's just like can't make up for a bad acting performance.
No, that is facts. I think I'm going to have that conversation with one of my writing partners tomorrow. She's always very much like, it's a visual medium, it's about the shots, and I'm like, it is, but it's also about the acting and the storytelling
is so important.
It's central.
I also want to note too, I did get really lucky on this project that like the actors I worked with were so good. I had just
so good,
phenomenal actors. Like each one of these people is like phenomenal in their own way. Even like, I mean, one of my best friends, Olive Hampton, who she plays a character called Daisy, and she has a small part in the movie. She was also the star of my film Wigglers that screened at the last RFN Indie Fest. She's, you know, her acting journey is really taking off right now, and like I'm
Love
so
it.
excited for her. Even some of like the characters that are like
In the
small extras in the background of this film are like really phenomenal actors themselves. So like literally I was so lucky to be surrounded by like so many talented people.
Well, it's a testament to you. I mean, people don't just get lucky. People come to work on projects with people who have good energy and projects that feel like they have something. So that's all you, Séyla. Take that.
Oh.
Um, so you already knew you were going to reach out to Lindsay. Then you had your boyfriend. And then what's the actress's name who played Fern?
Paige Smeltzer. I met her and Lindsay for the first time on the set. So Paige was also someone who I just followed on social media, and I was like, she just has like such, well, I think one of the things that like stood out to me about her is like her eyes. Like she has very striking, she's striking, beautiful eyes, but also just like, I knew that I wanted Fern to be a character that emoted with like using her eyes and is very stoic and very like poised. So I just like, she just had a great look for this character. But I've been following her for like a few years, and I think we had like chatted a couple times, but I just knew I really wanted to work with her. And then once I had this script and started like the casting process, like I was like, I'm gonna have her read for the character. She sent me like a self tape, and then we did like a callback with her and my producer Jesse. We did like a awkward Zoom callback. You know how like
We love
video
those.
calls
Yeah.
are, and so.
So did you only see her for that part?
Pretty much.
I love this. This like all came together perfectly aligned. Because I was going to ask about casting, but we've already gotten that. So you mentioned Wigglers, which for anyone else who doesn't know, earlier this year, Séyla's short film Wigglers also screened at the Richmond Film Network Indie Fest and won, you didn't say this part, won Audience Choice Award. Woohoo! I actually was there and I actually saw it. I actually voted for it. So one of the questions that was submitted to me, and I already have my answer for this question, but I want to see what your answer is. Do you think audiences can see your film Wigglers and see We'll Still Be Here and think, oh yeah, that's a Séyla Hossaini film? Like, yeah, do you feel like you kind of have a signature style at all? Or do you think you're kind of all over because how many films have you created, written and directed?
I want to say like proper like 3.
Okay.
The Misadventures of Frankie Finch, Wigglers, and We'll Still Be Here. Although technically I did make some like artsy experimental like silent films that are
Love it.
still out there. They're on like YouTube. So
Okay.
but I also like, it wasn't even just not having like resources like sound or anything like that. I was really into Kenneth Anger films, which are like music video-esque silent films. So I was like, for a while I had this thing when I first got kind of eased into filmmaking, even though I had been screenwriting, I had this phase of like, I'm going to make silent films. And I mean, I would maybe make one again, but I was back to the question though. First indicator is that Noah and Olive are in both of them. Aside from that though, I don't know. I want to say, I think maybe yes, people would be able to tell because of like the language that the characters, like the way that they interact with each other. I don't know. I feel like yes. I think my answer would be yes. I think that they can tell.
Well, that was my answer. So again, I watched your film blind. I didn't know that you were the writer-director of Wigglers. When I read that in the information afterwards, I immediately was like, oh yeah, there's something in your aesthetic that there's a similarity. I was like, they're totally the same director, but they're not the same.
Victor too, Victor Collins.
See, and so I think a director's DP relationship is also really important because that kind of, maybe not cements your style, but gives it a certain texture. And it was just really cool to find that out because your film stood out so much to me in February. And then I'm like, oh yeah, of course. So do you feel that you push boundaries with your films? Is that like your intent? Is there like a such thing as going too far? Do you you just go with whatever the idea is, no boundary, push it all the way?
Ooh, okay. I love this question. Okay. When I start making features, I think the boundaries are going to get pushed a lot further than than the short films that I've put out, because I have a lot of some pretty like out there ideas, but I definitely don't intentionally set out to say like I want to shock people or I want to be controversial. I just try to be really honest, and I think that in honest writing and honest filmmaking, inevitably you're going to push boundaries
Push the
because the
boundaries.
truth is usually not something easily stomachable, especially when you're dabbling into topics like, you know, with wigglers like addiction, or like anxiety, depression, like all these topics that I'm like delving into in these films. Like I just think like trying to sugarcoat anything would be dishonest. So I definitely don't set out to say that like I'm gonna try to be a boundary pusher. Anybody who knows me would probably say, yeah, I've been trying to push boundaries since like literally my whole life. But I mean, I enjoy shock value, and I do enjoy that. But
you do, okay.
I definitely do. I mean, I enjoy being shocked. I mean, I like to see something original. Like any movie that all of my favorite films are films that people would probably say are like controversial or provocative. But I just like to see something like original. First off, and also I think that my gravitation towards like films that are graphic in nature, like sexually or when it comes to violence, or I kind of, I mean, I think there's times to be subtle and to like illustrate something without showing everything. But then I also, on the opposite end of the spectrum, think there are times that like we need to see everything. So I think that there's like a balance, but like I don't think if you feel like you need to like show something, like I think, you know, go for it. And
so you would say like it's not intentional objective to how can I push the boundaries, but your thing is like authenticity and how does it impact the moment that you're trying to convey. Like if it's necessary, you're going to not shy away from the boundary, but you don't just like set out to be like, let me push the boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just part of being like honest and your filmmaking and like, yeah, I think
honest filmmaking. Let's bring it back. Let's have honest filmmakers. I love when you were talking about Paige's eyes.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about your use of the extreme close up on her eyes in a moment, and I just was like obsessed with that shot and the way they averted, and I just think you made some really interesting, creative cinematic choices. But then knowing that her eyes were like a big factor in why you even thought she could
just her
fit
look.
this
Something
part.
about her look,
Totally worked.
I think this was a different character like that than what she normally plays too. So, but like she really like dove into the role and really became that character. Like, and just watching watching her over those 3 days was really amazing too. Like, it's because it's another instance where the character and the person are so different. And yeah, I can't wait to work with like all these people again.
Well, that takes me to my next question. So apparently you said in a previous podcast with us that you don't set out to hire women specifically, but you do love it when it happens that women end up dominating your set, crew, or cast. Do you still feel that way? And are there any other women that you've seen out there, since you do kind of like follow actors and whatever, that you want to work with? Do you have that you have not yet?
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, definitely. There are some pretty famous actors I would obviously love to work with, but there's also some like smaller actors and like local actors that I've definitely had my eye on. I'm just waiting for the right, like the puzzle pieces to come together. Like just, you know, like it's literally like puzzle pieces, like the role and the person, and like just envisioning that happening. But yeah, not just cast, but like my crew was like, there was a lot of women in this crew. And they were all, every person, literally like the best crew of my life. And I had a couple of people make comments on set that they were like, oh, this is like the most diverse set that I've been on, which was really cool to hear. Cause again, it was like not something that was like intentional. I always just hire whoever's best for the job. And yeah, so it was cool that it ended up being that way. But yeah, like I had some ladies who were like really like busting ass on this set. So Like my two ADs that I mentioned, Chelsea Burke, Caitlin Whitaker, both hardworking and like so good at what they do. I had like both of Victor's ACs were women too. Like we had a lot of cool chicks on this set.
I love this. What would you say was your crew size in total?
It was like I think like 30 something.
Oh, you had a decent crew.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we raised the money for it, and it was still like it still felt like we needed more money.
Don't we always? Like,
so
let's be real.
expensive.
Listen. So I've been told that your budget was like $20K ish. How did you crowdfund? Was this all out of pocket?
Yeah.
Really?
We didn't get the grants that we tried to get. Grants are hard to get. They really are. They are. I mean, honestly, like it was, I don't think I could crowdfund again. And I don't think I will again, but I mean,
what would be the deterrent there? What was
I need
a
too
bad
much money
experience
for my next movie. I can't ask everybody in my life
for money again.
You get like one time. One time. I mean, I've seen people do multiple crowdfunds, but like not for the amount of money that we were like you really get like one crowdfunding opportunity to try to raise.
Well, I think yours was very well used
because it was it was a proof of concept, so it was important.
Like, what would you have? How much? I mean, obviously, unlimited funds is a great answer, but like, how much more realistically would you have been like, if we had X amount more, we could have done this specific thing better or more fuller or something? Is there like an area? Because we always want a bigger budget, but I think you did an amazing job. Like your graphics, like everything.
Thank you.
So,
well, I mean, I will say like I'll say this as an answer. We did apply for a grant that we didn't get for $50K, and like that sounded like
that would have been the ideal,
like a cush environment. Like that would have been like that would have been great.
Do you think it still would have been only 3 days?
Maybe so, but I think maybe we would have extended it a little bit. Although honestly, like the 3 days went really like swimmingly. It felt because we shot Wigglers in 3 days, and that was a longer movie, and that was like a little bit more. That was more stressful than this. And we also had like no money when we came to make Wigglers. We like literally like Noah and I like produced that together, and we like self-funded it. So pretty much everyone worked for free, and you also only get one chance to do that too.
Only one, unless you're doing a 48. You only get one chance.
48 for some reason. That
48, everybody knows going in. We're working for fun and free, but you only get one outside of a competition like that. So
exactly. So
but well used. You won Audience Choice Award, and this I just can't wait to see how you do at Indie Fest in November 15th. Make sure you get your tickets. Guys. I will definitely be there to vote. Get your tickets. Come and see. We'll still be here. One more question, and then we'll do like a quick little lightning round of fun questions.
Okay, got you. Yeah, fun.
1.5 questions. How long was your post-production process?
Like under 2 months.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I showed the film to some of the cast. I showed it to Lindsay and Paige, and they were like, you edited this fast. I didn't edit it, but like they were like, this is fast. I don't like to be in post for like an eternity. I refuse. I always give editors like a deadline. Wigglers, I did a lot of the editing myself. Victor and I did a lot of the editing. Noah helped a little bit too. Like he like synced the audio and stuff for us. Like so it was a team effort with that one. But like I just can't like I think that like there's this I can't remember who said this, but people say this all the time in film where they're like you never really finish a film, you just abandon it eventually. Because like you could literally sit and try to make everything perfect for years, but like it's like I want people to see the movie.
See it. It's the same thing with writing. Like the drafts, they're never done. Even when you get to the final, there's like, I probably could have changed that one line. Like creation never ends.
There's
you just have to.
Film that I would have changed if I could go back in time, but it's But also like nobody who's watching the film is going to notice something that I've noticed at this point. Like it's
Okay, so lightning round. What is your favorite writing, editing environment, whether that's music or screenplay? Like, how do you set it?
Like physical environment. Okay.
Yeah.
My house, like, or
Not in public. Okay.
I always think about bringing my laptop to a coffee shop, and I do occasionally, but honestly, like my house or my parents' house, like, or sometimes Noah's house too. But yeah, mostly just like literally my living room.
Do you have like a certain scent or certain music or certain snacks, or it's just like
I listen to music.
Okay.
Sometimes I turn it off if I'm getting too distracted. But yeah, I would say just like listening to music in my house. And I have to like, I can't sit still for that long. So I write and then I go like walk around the block or something and listen to music and then come back and write. And like, I have to move around, but yeah.
I'm starting to see that the physicality is a recurring theme in you, even how you create and then how you bring to the set for the actors. Like it's in your body, and it's so true. There's so much artistic energy that sits in our body. You got to get it moving to kind of create. So it makes sense that you like have a work and then you go spurt and get the movement out. So I absolutely love that. What is your favorite vampire film besides your own? We'll Still Be Here. Do you have one?
No, just mine. No, just kidding. Okay. Oh yeah, I have a couple. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna name a couple really quick.
Okay.
Let the Right One In, the original Swedish version. And Only Lovers Left Alive, the Jim Jarmusch movie. Those are my two favorite. Honorable mention. Crap. Now I'm like, what's it called? It's called like A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That Arab vampire movie. I saw that.
I'm writing all of these down. I've never seen any of them.
That one's really good too. But yeah, I think Let the Right One In. One of the scenes in my film is a little bit of an homage to a scene in Let the Right One In. So
now I have to watch that to see if I can spot it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
I like planned the shots to be like. At one point, I had this idea of doing like a very precise homage, but it's kind of my own thing. But it was definitely like the way we shot something in particular was a little bit inspired by that movie because I love that movie.
I love it. Way to steal like an artist. Love. What is a Richmond, Virginia venue that you'd like to shoot your next project in? Is there a venue you've had your eye on?
That's a good question. I don't know. Oh shoot. Like, you know what? Let's say the Bird Theater, because I actually have like a scene in something I'm writing where characters are in a movie theater, and I pretty much just like wrote a description.
I love the Bird. That's such a good location, and it's historic, and it's very Richmond.
Yeah, okay, it's very romantic, and yeah.
Let's put that on the vision board. And what was your last binge or must-see film?
Binge or must-see film? Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna. Okay. Gosh. Okay.
Or your last film that you're like, you got to see this movie.
Okay, I'll give two. I'll give like one for something that's like more mainstream, and then one that's something that's only people who like really weird stuff watch this one. There was I really liked Weapons. I saw Weapons in the theater, and like you said earlier about going in blind, I had knew nothing. I was like avoiding, and they also didn't spoil too much in the trailer. A lot of movies now like spoil stuff. I saw Weapons recently in the theaters, and it was so fun in the theater, and it was going in blind was a really good choice. And I watched a French movie called Fat Girl. It's an early 2000s movie. It's by the director Catherine Breillat. I'm probably pronouncing her last name wrong. She's a really iconic French director, but that's a really disturbing movie, like very, very disturbing.
I love disturbing.
Super disturbing.
Oh, I'm about to look that up.
It was great, but it was if you're not into like, also like, I guess, I don't know, like touches a lot on like essay and stuff. So it's like not for everybody, but I thought that she did a great job with like the messaging in that film. So
I'm going to watch it. I love uncomfortable. I love getting gritty. I love it.
So that was a great movie though. That was like the best movie I've seen recently.
That was Fat Girl. And Weapons. You're like the fourth person now to tell me to watch that movie. I've never seen the trailer. Fun. So I'm going to watch it. Yeah. You've given great movie recs. See, good directors. Good directors know good stuff, guys. Pay attention to that. So what would you say, final question, was a major challenge or triumph that you got through this process of this particular film? And that could be a personal one for you, interpersonal with you, or a technical thing. Like, what was one really big challenge, but then one really big win?
Ooh, okay. I feel like scheduling is like always like the most annoying. I mean, I did have like a really great AD team, so they helped a lot, which was like I was lucky for that. But like, I had somebody on the crew who, I won't say who, but I had someone who I had to replace on the crew side, like kind of last minute, which was like very stressful. There was just a lot of like scheduling stuff that came up in the weeks leading up to the film. We had our date set like 2 weeks. Like we knew 2 weeks, like these are the days we're going to shoot. So we were like crunch time because like, yeah, it was just like people had like, just
schedules.
I won't get specific, but just scheduling stuff. And then I feel like
a victory.
A victory was, oh god, like getting the whole thing done was such a victory. I'm trying to think of like a specific thing. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, meeting like Paige and Lindsay for the first time and watching such amazing performances from them was so rewarding. And the rest of the cast as well, but it was cool because I just like I had worked with, I think, like everyone else before in the cast. I had worked almost everybody, not everyone, but yeah, like I met them for the first time, and then we had an amazing collaborative experience together. So that was like a big victory, I would say.
I would totally agree. Meeting them for the first time on set, even though you maybe had a phone call with Paige, you pulled great performances out of great actors.
Thank you.
You had the great bones, which is the script.
Thank you.
And a great DP working relationship. I'm really excited for what's next for you. What is next for you? I mean, we know we can all see we'll still be here November 15th at Indie Fest at the Park RVA. Get your tickets. But what is your next project that you're working on, and how can we find more of what you've got out there and keep up with you?
So the best way to like check out my work and keep up with me is definitely Instagram. It's at The Artistic Haunting, my Instagram handle. It's a reference to a Bergman film. Holler at me if you know what film it's from. But
you're such an artist. I love it.
But my big thing right now is trying to get some investors for this feature film. I have somebody illustrating like my pitch materials right now. It's time to start pitching. So that's my big, I'm working on all of that stuff right now. And also I've had a big surge of like writing inspiration as of like really recently. So I've been writing a ton. I have this feature that I want to make now, and then there's a bunch of features behind that are going to be.
Oh,
so it's
sounds like you have like the arsenal loading up. You got like ready to come out. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
I'm ready to make a bunch of movies.
All of the positive energy for the investors to show up for this one, so that we'll still be here, can expand to the next level, and then then you've got the world kind of aware of you, and now you've got all this other stuff ready to come out in the can. I love it. That is how you create work, when you have the inspiration, but be ready for the opportunities. Because when they say like luck is when when opportunity meets preparation, success is when.
Yeah.
Something like that. You know what I'm talking about. So basically, you're ready when the opportunity drops in your lap. And I love it. You are an amazingly talented, very artistic filmmaker, writer, director, editor, musician. How can we follow what's going on with the band?
Just at Towards Space. It's our band name.
On Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
God, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Séyla. Another big round of applause for Séyla Hossaini. Thank you so much. We're excited to see you in person, right? On November 15th. Would you be there?
I will be there, and Paige Smeltzer will be there as well. So hopefully
that would be amazing. We get to talk to an actor too.
Yes.
Okay. It was great talking to you. Amazing film, both times, because now I've seen 2 of your 3. And I can't wait to see what you do next, Séyla. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Richmond Film Network podcast. Thanks to our guest and to you, our listeners, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Tune in next week to see who's on the RFN pod. Until then, keep the cameras rolling.